everybody. Welcome back. I'm back again on VCTV, Venture Capital TV from Token to host another episode discussing about how to find funding investors for your startup. So before I start introducing the speakers of the panel today, I would like to have I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Sunny Mohanty. I regularly host VCTV based in Singapore. And yes, I love doing that. And today is a special episode as well because we have somebody who is going to share his project with us. He's going to present his project. He's looking to raise fund. So that's why he's here as well. So that's me, that's VCTV. Let's have a quick round of intro about our speakers. And there you go. Hi Tushar. Hi Gary. Good morning, afternoon. How are you?
Great.
Good afternoon. Great. We are doing great. Thank you, Sunny.
Welcome. Tushar, let's just start with you. A quick round of intro. You've been a regular speaker. You're a sort of family member, VCTV family member, as I like to say. And just start with you.
Thank you, Sunny. Myself, Tushar Kansal from Consultancy Ventures. I'm an accomplished professional with experience spanning multiple sectors, from venture capital, from Big Four consulting at Deloitte and Touche, from the London Stock Exchange listed Systema's India unit, MTS India, to CFO of a Guggenheim Partners owned company, Distribution Logistics. I'm a mentor and judge at entrepreneurship cells of IIT Mumbai, IIT Delhi, IIT Chennai, and IIT Dhanbad. And I'm also a venture advisor with Loyal VC, the INSEAD-led Canadian VC fund, having a core portfolio of over 160 investments in more than 35 countries. Over the years, last 6 years, have arranged funding for startups and growth stage companies in diverse sectors, both technology and non-technology. And I've appeared in more than 125 webinars and talks. My opinion is sought by publications like CNN News 18, Business World, Business and Economy, Digital Market Asia. So happy to be here discussing this wonderful topic. And thank you, Sunny, for having me again on this show today. Thanks.
Wow. Thank you so much, Tushar. You bring in a wealth of experience and expertise to our panels, and we always welcome you on our panels. Thank you so much. Next, we have Gary Fowler. Hi, Gary. Good morning. How are you today?
I'm good. Well, I'm just a country boy from Pennsylvania, but it's
All right.
So,
we do remember that.
Yeah, my name's Gary Fowler. Great to be here today. I've done 17 startups. I've been involved in 2 unicorns. I was on the original management team of Click Software, so the sales force for 1.35 billion, and also Eva.ai. I'm the co-founder and president of GST Get You Done Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studio. I do a lot of, I have a radio show in New York on Saturday nights, iHeartRadio. Our Digital World that I host with Zen Sams, the actress and model. Have some incredible guests coming on. I'm not supposed to say which celebrities, but some really cool ones. I'm just really happy. I want to get their autographs. That's what I want.
Yes, I've seen it.
Some pictures with them too, but kind of fun. I feel like a kid in a candy store. And I write a lot too. So I've written 161 articles in the last 14 months on AI and quantum, focusing a lot now on some of the cutting edge. I'm very interested in AI replications of people in terms of your personality. So you never lose a loved one. That's my next article on Forbes. That's it. I mean, I'm out there. I'm doing IPOs. I'm doing a whole lot of other things, just keeping busy.
Okay, that's it, Gary. That's it. So Gary's a legend, I would say. He's been a part of VCTV before even I started moderating on VCTV. So that's Gary Fowler.
Oh, and I have a show on VCTV called The Founders Report.
Absolutely. And so Gary has got his own solo show where he's moderating, hosting other speakers. So there you go. So I have no other words to introduce Gary other than Gary Fowler. Everybody knows him, and his GST Venture Studios obviously has moved from where it was to India, other regions as well, regionally as well. So expanded and probably partnership with Tussar as well. So yeah, I mean, a lot of things happening when it comes to GST Venture Studios, and I'm also attending your basically your show with a celebrity. I'm going to watch it
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well. I mean,
Zen is very interesting. So Zen Sams is an elite model, entrepreneur. She's an actress in Hollywood. She just appeared in The Protocol, and she's really nice. She's Greek Canadian, actually speaks 5 languages, and it's really interesting because it's like I talked to her. In fact, I'll talk to her later today. It's just incredible. It's a different world, one I've never ever been around in my life, but I'm really interested in it.
yes, I'm really interested now to watch the show. Alrighty. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Tushar. So the topic today is how to fund your startups. So according to recent study, over 90% of new businesses or startups, as we say, fail during first year of operation. Lack of funding turns to be one of the most common reasons. Money is the bloodline of any business, the long, painstaking yet exciting journey from the idea to revenue generating businesses needs a fuel named capital. So that's why at almost every stage of the business, entrepreneurs find themselves asking, how do I finance my startup? You know, now when you require funding, so when would you require funding depends largely on the nature and the type of the business. But once you've realized the need for fundraising, we would like to enlighten our viewers today how to raise that funding once you realize all these sort of little milestones. So that's where our speakers bring in their expertise and experience and the knowledge. I've got somebody else joining as well. Okay, right. So Tushar, let's just start with you. Uh,
Yeah.
so I would like to ask you about what is bootstrapping. So we hear like sometimes you when you speak to startups they say we are bootstrapped. So what does a bootstrap startup means? Let's just start from the basics.
Well, a bootstrap startup means that the founder is using his own funds. He has not taken funds from any investor. But in many cases, friends and family, which is FNF, the way it's called in startup vocabulary, friends and family do chip in with initial funds and help the founders. And it makes sense as well because the real value gets created post achievement of certain milestones of the startup. So if you are taking investors' money too early, you are losing out because you have to give a good amount of equity in the initial round when the valuation is low. So bootstrapping means that you use your own money. You use probably borrow some from your father, from your brother, or some friends and family, and you utilize it to a certain extent till the time the business starts proving itself and attracts those investors who can put money at a good valuation.
Perfect. Thank you for answering that so nicely. So, Gary, again, when a startup starts to look for funding, so I think, as Tushar rightly said, friends and family are the ones who come into first, sort of sight. Like, okay, let's just go and get some money from them. So, what happens? How easy or difficult it is to raise money from friends and family while you're bootstrapping your startup?
How much money do your friends and family have? It's like, keep it
That's
simple.
important as well.
And I mean, the deal is, listen, most of the time when companies are founded, they're founded by technical entrepreneurs. It's like almost 70% of the time. And so part of the challenge is, one of the challenge when you're starting a company is how do you go down through and raise the money? Who do you talk to? What kind of networking connections? And this is like keep it simple, stupid. So if you have had success, the probability of getting funded is a whole lot higher. So when an entrepreneur, one of the reasons we started GSD is exactly because of that. Because, we've been going down through, and I'm not, this is an advertisement for GSD, but I'll tell you my own logic. I've done it for over 35 years. And my first startup I had no money. I was right out of graduate school. I asked my father said, son, you got a graduate degree. You should be a professor in the university. I said, but Dad, that's not what I want to do. But you studied all these years. I'm proud of you. And I was like, that's not what I want, Dad. And so, I started my journey in entrepreneurship. I started a design construction company with new materials. It took off. 2 years later, my friends that were saying, oh, you shouldn't do it, they were saying, you've got the golden touch. I'll never forget it. And I'm like, there's nothing different, right? It's just I took the risk, and it's like rolling dice. So you got to go out, create the credibility, use your background, especially today during the digital transformation. You got to have a presence online. Because the first thing you do when somebody has a Zoom call with you is they look you up exactly when you're on the screen with them. They Google your name. You better make sure there's a lot of stuff out there, not a lot of negative stuff. So make sure that you've got your social media. You don't put some wild pictures. Make sure you're writing some articles. Make sure you're involved, just like on VCTV, in pitching competitions, etc., so people can see who you are, because it adds to the credibility. And as we go down through this journey, that credibility is going to become more and more important. And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more you get out there, the more trust there is, then you're going to start, doing deals. So in terms of family and friends, you just have to convince them that you got the right idea at the right place at the right time. And generally, when you do that, it's under $100,000 worth of funding. It's just enough to get you started, right? But it's kind of dangerous too, because you don't know how to run a business. So you're coming in not knowing how to run a business. So, setting the business up. People, Harvard, the first MBA program was started at Harvard University to teach managers how to manage, not how to be entrepreneurs, right? And setting up a company. What are the legal requirements? Trademarks and copyrights. How do I get those done? How much does it cost? Patents, right? You may have a great idea, but maybe 5 other people own parts of that idea. How do you do those? Those are the secret sauces that you need to have. So journey 1 is, convincing your family and friends that to put some pre-seed money in. The next thing is go out, just like we're going to do today, is raising seed or Series A capital, going out to the right people. A lot of times, practice makes perfect. So make sure you practice your pitch, rock the pitch. I went to Stanford University and took those classes at Stanford myself with an acting coach and a business coach. And it wasn't easy. It was really amazing. You would come in and they say, today there's a big problem. They just found out that your product, doesn't work. And now you're going to be in front of the news. You're in front of CNN. Please sit down. And you would actually have to go through that scenario. It was role playing, but it put you on the spot and you learn how to think on your feet. Practice your pitches. Make sure you have very concise messaging. Make sure that when you're talking about your product or service, you got a tagline, and that tagline sticks. Delivering tomorrow's technology today is something that catches their attention. I changed with Click Software. It was called IET. I changed the name of the company to Click Software. People said, I've heard of it. There's zero probability. It's a little tiny company, but because we came up with a good name, people say, oh, I've heard of that. I know that company. Really? Okay, that's super. Yeah. And then after a while, people did know it. After a while, we did an IPO. Then it was sold to Salesforce, right? But come up with a really interesting name that's going to stick. Simple things. Keep it simple.
Absolutely. Keep it simple. So moving past family and friends, what I have seen, that crowdfunding is also one of the, I would say, newer ways of funding a startup that has been gaining a lot of sort of traction or popularity lately. So it's like taking a loan, pre-order, contribution or investments from more than one person at the same time. So Tushar, why you should consider crowdfunding as a funding option for a startup? For example, you were just You just made a startup which is bootstrapped, okay, below 100K funding, good enough, but now they're ready to scale. So, so as per you, do you think crowdfunding, and why is a funding option for their startup?
Sunny, it's a good option. Crowdfunding is a good option, but the only thing is that there has to be somebody who lends trust to the whole exercise. So like I also manage an angel network. So in that network, what we do is we choose companies and then present to the angels, and so the angels, they bank on our knowledge of the market.
Right.
And secondly, they want to be sure that we have done our part of the due diligence of these companies before presenting it to them. And what kind of due diligence? That if the founder, a very young founder, is saying that he has a particular business in his side of town, then you would have spoken to some distributor, you would have spoken to some of the customers, and you would have checked the basic things, like the initial turnover which the company is saying is correct, that from a statutory point of view, from a regulatory point of view, the company is set up properly and is paying its taxes, that
Yeah.
the agreement between the founders is there. In many cases, the founders, they forget to have an agreement amongst them, and it creates such a problem later on, because once the company grows, then
Yeah.
suppose a founder is having 50% and another co-founder is having 30%, then there are problems between them. So
Yep.
and this due diligence, the very basic due diligence, and from an accounting perspective, whether the accounts have been maintained properly. So
Yeah.
all these factors, they create trust. And trust is such a commodity that you might be the best founder out there in the market, having the best company, but if you don't have contacts, if you don't have a good advisor, if you don't have a good investment banker, a mentor, then how can the investor trust you? So there
Right.
comes the benefit of being in good alumni circles, having a good network, and so that these investors, they can bank on your knowledge, on your market knowledge, on your capacity to check the company's background. And that's how the second step in achieving funding comes.
Right. Thank you, Tushar. So Gary, just want to continue with what Tushar mentioned. Obviously, he's a part of Angel Group. So when do angel investors come into play? What stage of a startup? Is it like early, pre, or just after they've got bootstrapped? And what generally is their stake in the company? Do they keep equity instead of funding them? And what are some of the shortcomings of these angel investments?
Yeah, so in terms of angels, the angels are people that come in generally after the family and friends round, and they're, in my opinion, from California, they're generally
Yeah.
people that have had success in corporations. Um, they're interested in investing their own money into opportunities, or sometimes they have angel groups, um, like the Bay Area Angels, and they'll come in and they'll look at particular opportunities. Sometimes you pitch to them. They do group meetings once a month, and you pitch to them. So, but they're into smaller rounds, under $250,000 rounds generally. And but every time you go out and you get around, you're going to lose part of your company. So you got to realize, and these guys and ladies are pretty sharp, and they take a nice size. The last thing you want to do, Sonny, is get so many rounds that you come in that you're working for them and you have very little part of the company, right? You own very little of the company, and
Yeah.
you're building up all this equity and opportunity for everybody else, but not yourself, and that does happen. So my suggestion is, I've gone down through and I've done, I've raised money from angels. I've raised money from family and friends. The situation is you want to try to keep your purse strings tight. You want to be really tight with the finances to have the money last as long as it can, because you don't want to give up too much of a percentage of what you have. And you want to, one of the other mistakes that I see a lot of times is that founders raise too little money. They come in and because they don't know how to raise money, they raise smaller rounds or they raise it in the wrong place. For instance, if you raise money in Germany compared to Silicon Valley, your valuations are most probably going to be a lot less, right? And you're going to get a lot less in terms of a round. The A round in Germany could be, several millions dollars. The A round in California could be, $10 million, $15 million. It's a different kind of round. So make sure that you take those kind of things into consideration. And Tushar is right. You got to make sure that all your accounting setup, your cap table's correct, that you understand, that the investor will understand once a data room set up, what they're going to get of the company. You have an employee stock program put in place where you give 15 to 20% of the shares to the employees. That's the number, right? And how many advisors do you have? It's really important to have name brand recognition advisors. So if you have advisors that are, for instance, Rick Orloff, the former chief security officer at Apple, is on our board, and Bill Reichard, the Guy Kawasaki's partner in Garage. Why do you want them? Well, Rick is well known as one of the top security and privacy person. And so that always comes up, security and privacy. People talk about it. You want to make sure you have somebody that's an expert. And then you need somebody that's connected in Silicon Valley. And people say, well, why Silicon Valley? Because it's not just about Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley is a port to the rest of the world. So if I want to raise money in India, if I want to raise money in Africa, there's most probably somebody from Africa, somebody from India, people interested in those regions that are located there. It just makes it a lot easier. And they're generally really sophisticated too. So you're not going to come in and they're not going to ask questions that make zero sense. They're going to be right to the point, and they're there to make money. The other thing is family offices, right? Like our friend Marin. Having family offices seems to be easier to raise money from because you're dealing this multi-generational wealth, and they may not have as much technical expertise, some of them, but what they do have is they have the desire to increase the value of their family wealth. And so a lot of the wealthiest families, Rockefeller families have Venrock, DuPont family, they have their own family offices. And once you go in that, it's kind of like it's not talked about a lot. And there's not really a real list of family offices. They talk about them, but you have to have an introduction, a warm introduction to get in. And once you're in, it's an entirely different world because the amount of money they have is incredible. And they're interested in things like artificial intelligence. They're interested in quantum computing. They're interested in cybersecurity. They're interested in topics because they know that that's how the world is changing, right? And they're right on top of it. And generally, what I'm seeing is third generation now of that wealth.
Okay. Well, okay, that's Angel's.
Sunny,
Sorry.
can I just add something here?
Yeah, sure.
You said what are the negatives to getting an angel investment? So basically, sometimes what happens is if you are going for crowdfunding, then a lot of people are putting very small amount. So it populates your cap table. So you have a lot of people to deal with, and that sometimes is problematic. So I've seen companies they actually create a SPV, a special purpose vehicle, and they pool in the money and then invest through the SPV. So that makes it easier for the startup to govern or manage its shareholders.
Right. Great. Thank you, Tushar. Thank you, Gary. Okay, this is VCTV. We talk about venture capitalists. Excuse me. So when it comes to venture, we talk about big bets, right? So venture capitalists are professionals who are managing maybe funds, big funds, huge potential, So they usually invest into against equity and exit when there is an IPO or an acquisition. So let's just quickly touch, because we have a pitch session coming up. Let's just quickly touch upon how to approach and raise money through venture, as well as incubators and accelerators. Tushar.
So, in the initial round, when we have an option to take it from angels, we have an option to take it from some of the schemes of the government. So, here in India, the government offers 40,000 to $50,000, which you can take from the government as an initial seed funding. Then accelerators and incubators. Incubators are mostly entities which are linked to an educational institution, and they help the initial rounds of the company at the time when the founder practically does not know anything. So they help the founder. They take initial equity amount. Equity can be between 3 to 8%, and that 3 to 8% is the kind of equity which accelerators also take. Uh, but accelerators come in much later. Incubators come in early, and they help. So there is this incubator in Gurgaon. Their 4x CXOs run that incubator, and what they do is they offer a 16 weeks initial program where they give a download of uh, all the aspects of the company management, and they incubate the company for 2 years. And during this 2 years, the company has an option of coming back to the incubator whenever it needs any help. But for the purpose of making them understand the workings of a company, it's a 16 weeks kind of program. And accelerators are mostly private accelerators. They help, they have tie-ups, and they have empaneled chartered accountants, CS, lawyers. They have co-working spaces in many cases, and they have tie-ups with Amazon Web Server or Microsoft Cloud, and they offer such services at a cheaper rate, in many cases free of cost. And that's how these guys come in. In terms of putting actual hard cash, they put in small amounts. So an accelerator in typically I've seen they put between $200,000 to something like $400,000, and that's the you know that's the way they function.
Right. It's good to know, because a lot of people, a lot of startups need that them, right? That's why they are there, the incubators and accelerators. And I've seen that once the funding is discussion is over, that's where they need to go global. I mean, obviously they are raising. Startups are always raising, right? So Gary, over to you. The same question. VCs, sorry, no, VCs, incubators, and accelerators. How can they help raise money?
Yeah. So so I started the top accelerator in Russia, and one of the things that we did is we curated those companies so that when investors would look at them, they would find companies that meet their specifications. So the operating, um, they understand how the company operates. The cap table was right. The legal stuff was right. The pieces were in light. So they go to places where they can find companies that have cool technology, but also meet their criteria. So what you want to, so through an accelerator, they give very small rounds generally, like under 150,000, and they take somewhere, depends on the group, 5-10%. So sometimes it's a good thing, but if it's a starting point for the company to understand how to be able to set it up to be able to raise money for the future. I know in our accelerator, we do it a little bit differently. What we do is we actually do learning by doing, and we bring those top tier VCs in as mentors. So the VCs come in and actually, so you'll get people from Coastal Adventures or just top tier VCs, SoftBank, but they'll actually say these are the kind of things you should take a look at. and they give the feedback. And that's really what it's all about. And then the accelerators to guide you. It's kind of like having a GPS system, guide you to where you should be to be able to take that company to the next levels. So 120,000 or 150,000 is not going to be the end all. It's just to get you to the next level. Then the other thing is accelerators have relationships with venture capital firms and family offices. And so what they'll do is they'll do some of those intros and they'll work with those family offices and VCs in certain areas like artificial intelligence for supply chain or health tech. And so they know who to talk to. It just gets you into that group. It gets you to that connection.
Thank you so much, Gary, Tushar. So, well, I think we covered most of the topics under how to raise funding, like starting from angel, bootstrapping, VCs, accelerators, incubators, angels, yeah, crowdfunding. We have a startup today who are going to pitch. So, who I see two people, Shashi and I see Nishal as well. So, Sashi, are you the one who is going to speak and present?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you, Sony. Why I'm here is the same reason that you all are discussing today, and I learned a lot from hearing to your discussions and everything. So, even though you have not personally experienced, and do you know, none of us have the ownership of our domain names and TLDs, which we are using for our day-to-day lives and businesses. Right? Imagine if your hardly developed business website or your truth revealing media site disappeared from the internet overnight. So, and even since we are moving forward to a cyberspace and cyber wars are about to happen as per the intelligent people in the world who are saying like that. And so assume if any country level, top level domain vanished from the internet overnight, so that the particular country will be in a mess. Their stock markets won't work, their aviation systems won't work, and it will be a financial crisis, and it will be a nightmare for a country. Right? This is because you do not own your domains, nothing but you have rented your domains from the domain registers. And do you aware that we are surfing on an internet that support endless censorship and data indexing, which favors many requirements of governments and religious organizations, company advertisement, contracts, and so forth. So all these scenarios are in the current internet because of the censorship and monopoly created on domain names and TLDs by two organizations called ICANN and IANA. So can we move into the next slide? So what is the possible solution for this situation? Because this is a global threat that we are looking at, even though that we have not understand. The possible solution is decentralizing the internet in a way that it doesn't have the same choke points. Like, so except what we are going to do is we are introducing blockchain based decentralized internet, and this entire ecosystem will give you all in one solution with a browser, domain name system, domain reservation system, and decentralized hosting, and extensively cost effective for any domain user. Right? So we are paying annually for our domains for the moment. And your ownership will be identified through NFT, which is called non-fungible token. And your privacy will be very high since this is running on the blockchain. And considering the top level domains, right? So in the current system of the internet, if you are going to create a top level domain, so it will cost you millions of dollars and years of time. So in our system, users can easily purchase TLDs, not only domains even. Can we move into the next slide, please? Yeah. So how we are going to do that? So these are the project components that we do have in our ecosystem. First one is Exip DNS. Exip DNS will be running by the community It could be run on your computer, it could be run in your mining machine, or whatever it is, as nodes. And these node runners will get staked when people are buying domains and TLDs. Since it is run by the community, so no one will be able to shut down your domain or TLDs at their wish, but the community through voting system, which we have created. Now, just as example, Bitcoin is unstoppable just because of the miners. The same system we have applied for this DNS system in here. And the exit domain reservation system. So the entire project that we are looking at decentralization and plus the agnostic blockchain model, because we don't want to be depend on one blockchain model, right? So there are so many blockchains are coming like Ethereum came and Neo and Stellar and blah, blah. There's so many new blockchains are also coming into the internet. So we don't want to depend on one blockchain. So what people can do is when you are buying your TLD or a domain, we'll be providing you to mint your NFT, which will be pegged into your domain name or the TLD in whatever the blockchain that you would like to have, right? So, and next most important thing is when you are creating a TLD, as an example, let's say somebody got .india TLD, and if the Indian government got the .india TLD, then Indian government can allow their people to create domain names under the TLD, and some portion of the domain purchasing price will be goes to the TLD owner. That is one of the main key features that we do have in our system. And exit browser and browser extension. But why we need a browser and extension? Because these domains and TLDs won't be get supported by the existing browsers. So when you are surfing the internet, so what we have done is we have created the browser extension, which we have already got approved by Google and it's launched. So exit browser and browser extension will support you to browse this internet. And exit token, the futuristic key for this ecosystem. What we'll do is exit token even agnostic model. I will come into the token economics in the latter part. So when people are purchasing domains and TLDs, only 2.1 million exit tokens will be available for the market. For the moment, it's minted on Binance chain. And these token holders will get staked 21% of the whatever the price of the domain or the TLD among 2.1 million token holders, right? And Exim, the hosting part. So we will be providing the hosting through the interplanetary file system, which is a peer-to-peer hypermedia protocol, where initially with our first version of ecosystem will allow you to host a single page website when we are launching it on 20th of August. So can I move to the next slide, please? Yo. So this is the evolution. The prevailing domain name system is centralized and vulnerable, and you would get hacked at any time, and they will seize you or revoke you at any time. And exit domain name system, it's decentralized and run by the community. So even by being the creators, we are not going to have the control of it. And user cannot own their domains because we have rented it. That's why we are paying annually for our domain registers, right? So in our system, user can own their domains and even the TLDs through which will identify the system by NFTs. And the present prevailing system that we are paying annual fees, as I say, so in our system, you don't have to pay annually the same amount of money that you are going to pay only one time in your entire lifetime. And all the top level domains .lk, .com, .org cannot be purchased conveniently because ICANN and I owns that. And in our site, you can purchase, as example, if my name is Shashi Megavarna, so I can purchase .megavarna TLD, and I can create a website called shashi.megavarna, only no .com, no .org, nothing will be implicated after that. And with the current system, your privacy is at a risk because we all prefer the privacy, and within our system, you have the highest privacy. Can I move into the next slide? Yeah, when it comes to the cryptocurrency projects, the most of the things most valuable thing that people are looking at the token economy. So if you are coming up with some price or a value appreciation for your token, there should be some facts and figures that you have to be very considering. We have a very lowest supply, like 2.1 million, and this is a utility token, and will be distributed to the market in different stages, where we have 100% raise our funds through the pre-sale, and IEO is happening with you all in La Token. And the IDO, we will be happy to announce that as soon as the IEO ends. And in few different stages that we are going to release the tokens into the market in different exchanges. Because as you know, the exchanges has tiers. So we are going step by step until we reach the best tier in the market. The entire funding round will be somewhere around $30,825,000 at the end of the token sale. Can I move to the next round? Yeah. So how we came up with these numbers and everything, that is the most important thing, right? So if you take the current domain life cycle, right? So what we do is we are registering our domain, and after that, next year we are renewing our domain. And if we are not going to renew that, and it will be again available for the market. In except that we are going to eliminate this renew and deletion part, right? So as per the current data, so usually 692 domains are issued to the market with the current internet per minute, actually. So what we are planning is only the virgin registration part of the market. So 1,514 TLDs are available in the market, and 3.5 million domains are in the market. And Exif will penetrate a share of virgin registrations for the bare minimum. And so that's how we have come up with our numbers. Can I move to the next slide? Considering as the bare minimum of the market, so considering that we are going to acquire 0.5% of TLD market and 1% of the domain markets, and considering the facts like how the BTC has acquired their market percentage wise, and the industry average, what is crypto investor is considering about getting the return in. And so we have come up with the solution at the bare minimum that our token will be valued at 13.3 at the first year, which we is considering as the 2022, because 2021 we are considering only on token sale, and we will be as per the allocation budgets and customer acquisition rate as per the allocation budget. So we will be acquiring at least 361,161 domains and 173,635 TLDs plus everything, considering all the facts and figures. So we consider in 5 years the token value as per the bare minimum that we have considered will be 66.1. But the crypto market is so different stage when people trading your tokens and everything, and we have special things like staking. So we can expect something more than that, or we don't know, even less than that. So shall we make it to the next slide, please? Yeah, so the current status. So current status is that the first version of X6 ecosystem that we are going to launch on 20th of August, and our DRS system already we have launched. Our domain extension is already launched. The entire working product will be available on the market on 20th August. And our smart contract audit is going on, because most of the top tier exchanges expecting that. And our IO is ongoing on with La Token. And for the moment, I'm very happy to announce, but legally I can't announce the names of the exchanges. Multiple top tier exchanges have already approved Exif. So upcoming events will be our DEX offering, and our version 2 of the entire ecosystem and the browser, and dynamic web hosting, which we are planning to have on 20th of August. So this is the basically the roadmap of how we have come up to this level, and with the minimum of investment that we got as per the topic that we are discussing today. And yep, So I would like to have the
Okay.
questions from you.
So, did you share your founding team members' information? Is it there
I
in the
think you
slide?
can find, yeah. So regarding the founding team members, you can find it out in our website. But to be honest, that we don't have advisors for the moment because we are starting with very minimum capital. So we have been captured by so many top line advisors for the moment. But if we are going into the private chat as the investors with you also, we can declare all those things. And the founding team, I can tell you the our
Shashi, listen,
NFT platform
Shashi,
creators.
Shashi, this is Gary. Listen,
Yeah,
fundamental, a couple of
yeah.
things. And I've done thousands of presentations and I've had 4,000 companies through my accelerator, right? You
Yeah,
got to like keep it short and sweet and you got to captivate people. You got to enchant people. I'm
yeah,
not sure exactly what you got. You're giving us like a fire hose. You know what I mean? We're trying to drink out of a fire hose. Seriously, you got to like snap it up. And I think, you've got something there, but I'm not sure 100% what it is because there's so much. The other thing is you got to have the founding team members because I don't know who you are, right? I don't
okay,
have a clue, and I don't know who your partners are. I don't know if you're in some garage somewhere and Mumbai or where you are. But you need to do that. Are they IIT graduates? How did you come to this journey? And I'm not saying answer it. You've just given us too much right just now. You got to like snap it up. You got to have the captivating, enchanting side. You got to talk about what the value proposition, what the market looks like today, why this is going to, from my perspective, dominate. Then you got to come up with all the benefits that you bring to the table, what you've already done, what success, do you have revenue or not, those kind of things, and why your team can pull this off, right? Why you better than anybody else. Have one is that this will work, and two is that you could pull it off. So that's what I would do from my perspective.
okay. So
Okay.
understand, yeah.
And can I come here, Sunny?
Sure. Yes. Yes. Over to you. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. Shashi, as Gary said, see, end of the day, anybody who would be putting in his money would be betting on the founders,
Yeah,
and if he's sensing that it's a one-man company, then the risk associated with the company is more.
yeah,
So you have to have a balanced a team slide there. They might not be co-founders, they can be on a salary, they can be having ESOPs or anything like that, but you have to make it more rich, in terms of diversity. And also, you presented it like a techie presents it. A techie presents his product like he's won a Olympic gold medal. So there is nothing wrong in that, but you have to keep in mind that most of the investors who would be putting in money, they are not techies. So end of the day, you have to give them some good idea about the product, about how it will make money, what is the current traction, as in how much business you are doing right now, who are your competitors. uh, it helps in identifying your business model if you tell the name, give us some names of your competitors, and what are your competitive advantages as compared to these competitors. And also some projections, you shared the projections there, but it was a little bit cluttered, as in we could not make out much. And also the fund ask, that how much money you are asking for and how will you use them. Also some kind of a future roadmap, where you give numbers, not only financial numbers, but also in terms of opening new office, or launching the next version of the product, or launching something new, or reaching a team strength of 50 people. And so that would have made it more attuned to how an investor wants to see the investment. So while you presented the technological side very well, I must compliment you. But my advice is that from an investor perspective, you have to sit on the investor's shoes and look at it.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta. It can't be a one-person show. It doesn't work, Shashi. And you've had, the numbers that you have there, $30 million for one-person show. I mean, I'm not saying you can't do it, but the probability is really high, and I wouldn't put my money where that is, honestly. You gotta. How many people? So tell me directly, how many people are on your team?
Yeah, so because this
How
is a
many?
5-minute pitch, so I can't
No,
pitch
Shashi,
everything.
Shashi, how many
Yeah.
people are on your team?
So we do have 10 people currently permanently working in our team. They are blockchain experts, cybersecurity experts, and marketing experts, plus UI UX people.
Okay, so you need to go down through and put that slide up. You need to, this is, you may have a great idea, but a lot of great ideas never come to market, or they never become successful because, and that's a tendency. Tushar's right. A lot of times when technical founders try to present stuff, you're going to buy this no matter what. They don't try to enchant you and get you excited about it, right? They don't
Yeah.
have the business sense behind it. And, um, so I like it's interesting, but it wouldn't be interesting enough for me to invest in, right? It's interesting, but not there are too many pieces. So go down through. If I was you, go through Guy Kawasaki's presentations. He's got his presentation methodology, and I've talked to him directly about it. Use that and come up with a very short version of what you have, right? A shorter version, and have those points in there to give us to make us feel warm and fuzzy.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you so much, Gary and Tushar. I think, Sashi, this is for you to take back the feedback, to work on your presentation and pitch deck. I hope you take it in a positive spirit.
Yeah, of course.
And
So because
yes,
I was preparing for 5-minute pitch, and I never thought, because what they said, I totally agreed. So without having a look at the team and everything, so I thought that within 5 minutes I can't be pitch everything, because I just tried to explain about the product, because the key element of the project is the product. But I totally accepted and agreed what you all are saying. Thank you.
awesome. That's what we would like to hear from you, Shashi. That's the spirit of a founder. Thank you. Let's take some closing remarks. You got 5 more minutes. Tushar, your closing thoughts for the session today.
My closing thought is that you see VC Circle, you see Techstar Asia, Techstars, you see your story, you see every day 5 to 10 companies are getting millions of dollars. So
Yeah.
there is enough funding out there. Get the right team, get the right mentor, the right advisor who prepares you well to receive this and present yourself well, and also help you create a better investable fundable product and a company. So I'm available on LinkedIn by my name, Tushar Kansal. I'm also check my website consultancy.com, and my email is tk@consultancy.com. Happy to help wherever possible. Thank you so
Thank
much, Sunny,
Thank you.
Gary,
Thank
and
you.
Shashi. Thank you.
Sure,
Thank you,
sure. Thank
Tushar.
you.
You rightly said there are a lot of liquidity in the market. Thank you. Gary, over to you.
Yeah. No, these are exciting times. The digital transformation is upon us. For companies that take advantage of the opportunity to reach uh, investors everywhere from wherever they are, it's a great opportunity if you do it the right way. As I said, credibility in the market. Make sure that you've got an online presence. Make sure that people are talking about your company, just like Shashi did today. Do as many pitches as you possibly can, so you've got that stuff out there. It ain't easy, or everybody would do it, but you can really streamline the process to make your path to going global successful. And there are ways to do that. My name's Gary Fowler. You can reach me on LinkedIn or Twitter. Check out my shows. Great to be here today. Great to see you, Sunny, Tushar, and Shashi. And stay happy, keep smiling, and go get them.
Thank
Sure,
you,
sure,
Gary.
sure.
Sashi, quickly, a few words from you before we wrap up. Your closing thoughts, Sashi.
Yeah, so actually, I have really enjoyed and I learned a lot, because this is the first time that I am pitching this to some of the VCs. So we have been funded through some personal contacts as bootstrapping, as Gary and Tushar was consulting in the first session of the thing. So there are a lot of things that we have to focus on everything. Thanks, Tusha, and I have sent you the LinkedIn message for the moment. And Mr. Gary, I will be in touch with you for the rest of the things.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Gary, Tushar, and Sashi, for making this session very engaging and informative. And take care, guys, viewers. I'm going to be back again. Until then, keep smiling and stay healthy. Bye.